Hello world, welcome to the 160th climate change emergency protest here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, USA. It is December 31st, 2021, New Year's Eve. Next week will be the 161st climate change emergency protest, and that'll be on January 6, 2022. A whole year from now, basically. So this is number 160, as I said. I recommend, I'm going to start at the beginning here, and recommend that you go to Paul Beckwith and Environmental Coffee House to learn about climate change, as well as down my webpage here on Facebook. Colorado yesterday had wildfires in December, where 600 homes burned down, and also 30,000 people were evacuated. This is December, these things are happening. This is climate change gone amok. So this is the end of a catastrophic year for the United States and also the world. We've had fires, floods, famines, hurricanes, cyclones in Asia, record snows in the western United States, record rains, record heat, record this, record that, record that. So we've had mass migrations as a result of climate change. You have climate change refugees now in the United States and around the world. People lose their homes, you're a climate change refugee. Congratulations. We've had massive heat domes around the world, massive outbreaks of heat in the Pacific Northwest, for example, and British Columbia and Canada, where it reached 118 to 120 degrees, and then you had wildfires after that breaking out. You had massive amounts of fires throughout the West this year in the United States. It's only projected to get worse, too. This is, let's see here, David Wallace Wells with The Uninhabitable Earth, the book. Projects that, based on papers that he's read, that wildfires will get 67 times worse in the United States. How in the world can things get 67 times worse by the end of the century? So this is a world of literal hell that's coming upon the world, and everyone needs to wake up and get active concerning climate change. The next step of the governments of the world could be the fatal one. Could be the final death blow if they have not already achieved that dubious honor by with their policies and lack thereof policies. This could be it. This is how close we are if we're not past that already. If it was a doomsday clock, in my opinion, we've already passed midnight. We have to work our way back to midnight just to get to doomsday. The reason behind that is there's a time lag between carbon dioxide and temperature catching up to that. So right now we are working on the year 2000, 1990s, anywhere in there, 2010. For carbon dioxide and temperature, but in reality, things just keep getting progressively worse and worse. Now you have methane escaping out of the Arctic. So things are horrendously bad, and people don't realize that, obviously. Otherwise, logic would dictate that there'd be hundreds of people turning out all the time for climate change protests. And I recommend everyone go up to Climate Change Protest Corner here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, which is right up there. And I'll be there in a few minutes and doing my little ditty and showing how distasteful this end of the earth, end of the planet is that's coming our way. So we had the absolute failure of the COP26 climate change conference in Glasgow, Scotland this year. It was attended by 190 of the wimpiest countries in the world. They failed to take decisive action concerning the existential threat that climate change presents. In the United States, for example, Joe Biden has, this is not just Biden, but it's all the previous presidents as well. But Biden by himself is the supposed existential threat president for climate change. And the reason why I'm ragging on the Democratic Party right now is that they're the ones that are in control, and they need to get their act together and stop being timid and get on with this thing. Anyways, Joe Biden authorized 2,400 drilling permits up to June in the United States, as well as he leased off 80 million acres of federal land in the Gulf of Mexico for oil drilling and whatever else they want to do. 80 million acres. That is New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and Maryland combined in size. That's what we're dealing with here. This is a lack of connection as to what's going on, or pure sinister greed. Also, they authorized the Willow Project, which is a continuation of the Trump administration, but they didn't have to authorize it. They could have said no. But they authorized the Willow Project. This is 30 million barrels of oil over 30 years in Alaska. Canada, India, USA, Australia, Japan are continuing to use coal, and that was a big thing that they avoided at Glasgow, Scotland, COP26 conference. They continue to use coal to generate electricity. This is a life-ending, planet-ending, all life on Earth ending fossil fuel, and we need to get our act together is to stop burning coal. So they're dragging us into, the politicians of the world are dragging us into a catastrophic end with their policies. The first and easiest thing they could do is end subsidies to all the fossil fuel industries. This is easy. Stop doing that. Stop doing bad things. Last year, or in 2020, they did $5.9 trillion of subsidies to the fossil fuel industry. $5.9 trillion. That money could have been used elsewhere to combat climate change and do positive actions. Instead, nope, they give it to the fossil fuel industry. And this is why we're all going to die a horrendous death, because of these types of policies and lack of taking this threat seriously. So I recommend you stop voting for any politician that is not absolutely versed in climate change. And yes, your party will lose by doing this. But right now you're into a survival situation. You keep on doing the same thing around the world, voting for the same type of people, you're going to get the same. Nothing's going to change, and they're not going to change their ways. So stop voting for these type of people. If a person's not skilled in climate change, local, regional, national, worldwide, if they don't know what's going on, and this could be brought out in debates, then they shouldn't be in office. They should be laughed off the stage or told to get out. Okay, this is the type of situation we're in. I see it as survival of the whole planet as far as life on Earth. It's less than 10 years. Okay, so I say it's less than 10 years for survival. We're splitting hairs. Yeah, it could be 5 years more or 5 years less. I don't know. But I think this year things are going to get really bad for climate change, and by 2023, next year, things are going to be much, much worse. And by 2026, I surmise that we're going to have trouble surviving as a society and a cohesive society without societal breakdown and government breakdowns around the world. So are you willing to bet your life on these politicians, these idiots in charge, these sinister people that keep doing bad things? And I'm saying they're sinister because they know what's going on. They see the statistics. They're not idiots what's going on. They are idiots. But this is pure sinisterism going on here. You know, we need to get out and protest, whether it's me by myself, me with my wife, or a million other people here in Gettysburg and around the world protesting. You need to get on this right away and stop sitting on your hands and sleeping in bed and doing whatever else people do. And go, oh, I'm too scared to do that. You're going to be scared in about 5 years when things are totally broken down. So you can either do it now and get out and make it less painful, or do it in 5 years when you're scrambling for food and trying to survive, you and your family, and then you're watching birds and bats drop out of the trees and things like that. You will eventually be on the street one way or the other. It's a guarantee. You got a 100% guarantee of failure of the climate, failure of the planet due to catastrophic effects of climate change. This is a 100% guarantee. Don't you see what's happening? Can't you open your eyes and please look around and see what's happening around the world? Okay, I would absolutely love to say, hey, Happy New Year, have a great New Year. But you know what? I would love to say that. I wish that for everybody, but right now the science dictates otherwise. So we need to get on this and quit sitting around and doing nothing as far as that goes. So the movie Don't Look Up, that was a phrase within the movie. There's a giant asteroid coming, which is symbolic for climate change. And it's don't look up because you don't want to look up and see the reality of the situation. So, you know what, the phrase for all these politicians now should be don't look up. Whether it's Joe Biden, don't look up Kamala Harris, don't look up whatever the friggin' heads of the different parties are. Don't look up, don't acknowledge it. Yeah, just keep your head down and then it'll miraculously go away. So don't look up politicians, just don't look up. Don't look up local politicians, don't look up regional politicians. Everything will be just fine. Everything's going along just great. The 600 houses that burned down in Colorado last night are a reason why don't look up, don't look at that, and don't look at the 30,000 people that are running for their lives in Colorado. So don't look up, people. Just don't look up. Politicians, don't look up. Don't look around. Don't look up at these cars driving around town with their fossil fuels. Don't look at this truck going by. Don't look at anything. All right, so I'll catch you next week. Happy New Year. I do mean that. And, you know, please get out and start doing something. Quit sitting on your hands. The politicians will not budge unless they see thousands and millions of people in the street upset about this climate change issue. And if you're not upset about it, please go to Paul Beckwith, go to Environmental Coffee House, go down my webpage. I have hundreds and hundreds of articles about climate change and what's going on in the world. So Happy New Year. I'll catch you next week on January 6th. That'll be number 161. I'm tired of doing this. Please get out and protest. I should have stopped at number one, and things would have gotten done. This is 161. This is ridiculous. Catch you next week. Bye.